Hey, this is Kat St. John, and you're watching Let's Chat with Courtney Hall.
Thank you for watching another episode of Let's Chat with Courtney Hall. Listen, I have a special guest in the building, writer, singer, and rapper when she wants to be, Miss Kat St. John. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Now, can you talk about your music and what have you been doing with music?
So with my music, I have been traveling. I have a couple of shows coming up, one in Austin, one in Miami, and those are basically based around because of my outspoken ways with my music. And I'm also working on a new project, which I really finalized it, but now I'm having problems with deciding which ones I want to go on the track, because I realize that even though I did a lot of records, all of them can't go on the actual project.
You know what? How was that process, knowing that you have this big body of work, a nice collection, but none of them or not all of them can be on your project? How is that process of choosing?
It's hard because I used to think that that it would be easy because I'm a very hard critic on myself. But then when I really started listening to them, it was hard because a lot of them are telling my story. And there's so many things that I want people to know about me, to understand who I am, to understand why I am the way I am. And for me, sometimes I don't have time to express myself or to tell you, well, this is why I react this way to this or this. So for me, like, being able to take out some of those records was hard because some of them, like I said, describe who I am in the scope of within the actual story of the record. So that's why it was hard. It was like taking away a piece of who I am.
So you were on different networks like BET, VH1. How did you get on those networks?
Well, with BET, it was more so my writing, and there was some artists out of Atlanta, and they needed a record. So the producer of the particular record was like, Kat, listen, we need to be able to win this 106 in Park thing. I was a lot younger then, and I was like, okay, and I just said, let me throw out something that was crazy so that regardless of the situation, whether they win or not, somebody would remember my music. So the girls ended up performing my record, and that's how my music got on BET, which was very fun, and it was exciting. And then from there, for VH1, Tammy Roman contacted me and was like, hey, we heard this record that you wrote for another young lady, and we love your work, and we want to know if she was like, I want to know if you'll write a record for my daughter. And I was like, sure. So I wrote the record for her daughter, and I paid for the studio time. I paid for everything, and she was like, how much was it? And I was like, oh, don't worry about it. And she was like, don't worry about it. I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. I was like, just show me love whenever you can. And she was like, yeah. And then we did the splits and everything, and maybe like almost a year later, she calls me and says, you want to get on Basketball Wives?
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. I was like, yeah. She was like, okay, I'm not promising anything, but I think I could get you on one of the episodes. And I said, okay, cool. So she was like, well, do me a favor, make sure all of this paperwork is done with the record, which was going on VH1. So you have to do a lot of paperwork for your records to get on TV.
Right.
So that happened, and then I didn't hear a phone call. So I was like, okay, at least I knew that they were using the record. So then I got a phone call from Jazz. She was like, yo, they're using the record like almost in every episode.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, for real? And then she was like, yes, your ASCAP check is gonna be big. And I was like, okay, cool. So of course I still didn't have no inkling that I was going to be on the show, because people tell you you're going to be on this TV show, that TV show, and a lot of times it does not happen.
Or you can shoot and then they end up editing your part out.
So I didn't say anything about it. I never brought it up again. I was like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But when you're dealing with a young lady like Tammy Roman, like, you don't want to get on their nerves. You don't want to seem like a bugaboo or opportunist or anything like that, because I'm sure they come across a lot of that type of situation. So I never asked about it again. And then like a couple of months later, she was like, Kat, can you get to LA on this day? And I was like, yes, booking my ticket now.
Wow. Wow.
So
wow.
I booked my ticket, got out there. She gave me the time, location. I get up there. It's Tammy Roman, Jazz, the whole production company. They tell me which room to go in. I go in that room, and of course, I'm just talking to you. I'm not even realizing they're filming.
Oh wow.
So they're filming. This is how slick their camera crew was, which I think is really hot. It makes you feel like you're really there living without somebody recording you. So it made me. So I was at the point where I was just kind of prepping myself to be recorded, and I didn't even know I was being recorded.
Wow.
So I'm not gonna lie. I was like, man, I should have been more dramatic, because that's me. I was kind of nervous, and I was just kind of trying to fill out the situation. And then I was just like, okay. They was like, okay, we're good.
And
good.
see, that's the thing that I always think about. Like, do they prep you on a scene? Do they tell you to turn up and you just explain? No, they didn't.
No, they were just like, well, what happened was they did say, we're going to go over, Jazz is going to be talking about her project that you were a part of, this record. And then from there, it was like, it was all reality. It wasn't like when she says this, you say this. When I want you to react like this, blah, 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 all of that. So it wasn't none of that.
Now, with you looking at reality shows now, I mean, the cattiness is crazy. They're fighting every other scene. Would you do another reality show?
Yeah, I would, but of course I would try to maintain my composure, my moral, my value, level. So, but I'm definitely not gonna let anybody attack me without me scratching them back.
She said scratching.
But yeah, so then what happened was, after we recorded the TV show, again, I was like, I don't know if they cut it or not, because I wasn't dramatic enough.
Right.
I was like, I didn't do anything special. I was like, why would they keep me on their show?
Right.
So again, the show was, the reality show was airing, and it was coming on and on and on. And then all of a sudden, I see a commercial with my face all over it, like back to back to back to back.
And how did you feel about that?
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on TV. And I was like, ew, I was looking so cute too. I was like, girl, you look so extra cute. And then from there, I started tweeting out the video, and that taught me a lesson. Never speak about anything until it happens. Because in this industry, we get calls about reality shows all the time, and you think you're gonna be on that show, and it doesn't happen.
Right, and it doesn't happen. So being a writer, a singer, which one do you like the most?
I like writing a lot, and I like performing. And the only reason why...
So would you say you're an entertainer?
I love entertaining more than anything.
Okay.
If I could entertain and lip sing...
You would do that all day.
I would do that all day. And let me tell you why. Because my vocal cords are so up and down. Sometimes I just can't do anything with my voice because I've used it so much. And I've done so much damage to it. So it takes the fun out of the actual singing or rapping. Because it's like you don't know if your voice is going to be there or not. So I don't know if a lot of people have dealt with that. But that has caused a lot of depression in my life recently because of my vocals not being able to be heard. Some days I have to go days without talking to people because of my vocal cords.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So whenever you do a tour, or whenever another artist will do a tour, they do multiple shows or singing, do you think that they're singing every song every day?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think because you have to protect your voice, and I didn't know that. So now I'm learning how to use my voice. I'm learning how to protect it. I'm learning how to not be so loud. When I get excited, I get extra loud, extra dramatic. I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
So it's like I'm learning that, and I'm learning that, there's things that I'm allergic to that I never realized I was allergic to.
Like
so,
what?
Kiwi.
Wow.
Some people's crawfishes, not all of them.
She said some people.
Yeah,
no
whatever
shade.
they put in. I don't know what they're putting in a crawfish, but my tongue will swell up and I'll get these ridges on the side of my tongue.
Gosh.
And then my throat will close up. So there's things that I'm finding out about myself that I never realized, because when you're younger and you're more immature, you don't care about those things. You're like, okay, whatever it is, it'll go away. But then as you mature, you realize, okay, I got to take care of this. I have to check this out. I want to understand more of this. And so I'm realizing a lot of factors that goes on with the vocal cords has a lot to do with you eat, with what you're around, whether it's smoke, whether it's being around some hot water.
Right.
Things like that may help your voice. So I'm learning how to use use it.
That's good. Now, you go into the community, you go back into your community, and you give back. Tell us about that, because I know I saw a picture on your Instagram, you went shopping, you had like basket full of food. So talk about that.
I feel like because a lot is given to me that I have to give a lot. I feel real guilty when I make a certain amount of income and it's me, you know, and my family. But it's like, okay, even after that, there's more that I have, and I feel bad that I spend it on something that means nothing when I could give it to somebody. So, you know, there was a time frame in my life where I was doing stuff like a robot, like buying this just to buy that, doing this because it looks good, but I didn't really want those things, and it didn't fulfill me. It probably made me feel good for that day or that hour, but after that, it didn't do anything for me. So I realized like that giving passion I had, it just started taking over me. So anytime I had anything extra, anytime I had anything extra, I just give it. That's all.
Now, talking about the giving passion, you have a house. Talk to me and the viewers about that house.
That house is filled with homeless men. They were homeless. They're not homeless anymore. I don't consider them homeless because they are sheltered now where my house is. And they do pay $13 a night to stay there. Half of them do. The other half, they cannot afford it. They don't. Now, the one thing about it, all of them started off in there with no job. All of them have jobs now.
Wow.
So the ones that don't have jobs are the newly ones that are coming in that don't have any income. Those are the ones that get to stay for free until we get them on their feet. It doesn't matter if they make $300 a month. They have to go out and do something, and there's a routine that they have to live by. And all it is teaching them the regular routines of life of a working person. And the reason why I choose men was because they run our houses, right? Supposedly,
they're the head of the household.
They're supposed to be the head of the household. So we were taught. We have a lot of women that are head of households, you know, so maybe if we can get some men to do that as well, even if it's starting from somewhere. I don't want to take a man that already has a job, that already has a family, and say, hey, come live over here. You know, it doesn't make any sense. They're already set in their ways, but when you're dealing with a homeless person, it's like a child. Things that we take for granted. Things we take for granted. Water, toilet paper, socks. They will fight and kill over. They don't understand that those are small things because they're big things to them. And a child, meaning they were never taught to work. So you're teaching them from a young mental mind state of frame that, okay, this is just a routine. Working is just a routine. It's nothing hard about it. You just get up and you work and you do it. So once they understand that, then they fly and they go on their own. I've graduated 56 men out of my house so far. Wow. Yeah, and my house fits 27 people in there. Wow. So out of the 27 people that live there right now, it'll be 2 leave, 3 leave, 4 leave. It's nothing permanent. It'll be 5 leave, 6 leave, whatever the case may be. So out of the men that live in the what used to be called a shelter, I don't call it a homeless shelter anymore. I call it a men's club. So that also their mentality can change. Because what happens is that we put everybody in this box. And once you get in that box, you stay in that box. So if you keep on calling a child bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, whether you're saying it in a cute way or not, they know, they feel like they could do whatever they want to do because mama already said I'm bad, auntie already said I'm bad, so why not go ahead and continue to be bad?
You better speak the word.
So the thing is that as a young child and as a young adult, where things are spoken on us and we feel that we have to abide by that and live by that. If a person is considered a thief, well, she know I'm a thief anyway, you know? So my thing is, let's speak something else. This is a men's club. The men's club here, we look out for our brothers. We look out for them. If they don't have something, we help them, so on and so forth. There have been fights there where I have had to sit them down and have had to decide whether party A or party B had to leave. You know, because in this house, you want to be safe. You should be safe. I don't care what nationality you are. I don't care what background you were. We have people that come from horrible backgrounds, and we have people that come from a rich home.
Wow.
So homelessness doesn't have no genre, doesn't have no color, it doesn't have no race, it doesn't have any of that because it's a mental mind state. Yes.
Now, do they have to apply to get in the house, or how do you figure out who's going to be in the house?
Well, if there is an individual bed left, and what they do is they come in, we ask them a series of questions. The first question is, are you a pedophile? And if you are on drugs. I am not equipped to deal with that, so instantly they cannot stay there.
Right.
I'm not there to get somebody off of drugs because I don't know how to do that, and I don't want to mess anybody's life up. So but I do refer them somewhere if they have an issue. I do give them a card with a partner that I can refer them to, and there is a house that will take them, but I cannot. So that off top eliminates them. Then it goes into, do you have income? If their income is pretty good, they cannot stay there, because you would be amazed how many people will take advantage of something for people who really need it.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they have to show me that they can. And then also another thing is, if they've been there for 3 weeks and have not attempted to find a job, they have to be removed, because my thing is, then that means that what I'm doing is not working for you, and then I can't help you. And the reason why I say 3 weeks, because it takes up to 14 days to start a pattern. So after 14 days, if that pattern hasn't been started, it's kind of selfish for me to say, hey, keep on staying here, when Billy Bob or Jacob outside wants to take advantage of what's going on.
Right, and can benefit from
from it. Yeah.
So do you think that you're going to, get another house and develop, more houses, more men's clubs?
Yes, I'm going to. Well, what my plan is to try to get funding first, because I'm funding it all on my own.
Oh, wow.
It's very hard. It's very expensive. $10,000 plus a month out of my own pocket. And I remember there was times I called my PR, Shatana, and I was like, girl, I can't do it no more. Crying, stressed out. Like, what was I thinking? Yeah. What was I thinking? Like, I don't know. And then I would go up there like, I'm going to close it down. I'm just going to have to be strong. And I'm going to tell them it's going to close down. So that I go up in there and they be like, hey, Miss Cat. And I'm like, if y'all don't keep this bathroom clean, I'm going to close it down.
Where could we go to support?
You can actually, I don't have anything set up. I've never really had too many people say, hey, I want to donate. Somebody asked me that the other day, and it was shocking to me, because I don't know how to ask. Yeah. So I'm probably going to...
And that's the one thing, not to cut you off, that's the one thing that I do like about you, because you don't have a platform displaying like, oh, this is what I'm doing. Like, you're doing it behind the scenes, and I love that about you. But if we do want to support, where could we reach you?
For now, just reach my PR, Shatana Nelson, because I'm going to have her set something up where they can actually come in and donate things, because it has to be organized. If they would like to donate like food, socks, and water, which mostly we need socks, water, toilet paper. Those are the main things. Socks, water, really no clothes, because these guys, they have been mentally, they cannot bring in a certain amount of things or we will be a clutter house. So they already have the clothes, but sometimes they need socks. We always need water, and we always need canned goods. So, and toilet paper, oh my gosh, toilet paper. So I do have a place where they can drop it off, and I'm gonna give them that address, and if they wanna drop it off there, all they have to do is DM my PR and let them know that they're going to be dropping it off so somebody can be there. The address is 2616 South Loop West, Houston, Texas, suite number 100E. That's 100E, 2616 South Loop West, suite 100E. Yep.
That's so good. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Now let's get back to the music.
Yes.
So, what can we expect from you in the future?
Well, I have decided within myself, I was like, okay.
Oh, yes, this is going to be good.
I was like, you know what? I was doing a lot of, like, records, like, that I feel like I was stuck in, like, a younger mind frame. And, like, it's like I just really, really matured. So I had to find myself again in music. And my music is more mature now. So I'm trying to tell my story more defined, more in a mature way, and not as childish as I used to tell my story. But still a little ratchet. But with my music, I just really want people to hear my story. Like, for me, it's like I'm crying out. It's like I'm crying out. It's like if I don't get it out, it's like on the inside I'll be dead. And I can't explain that feeling. Like, it's like a suffering, because in this world you try to protect the people that hurt you, and whether it's family members or friends, and you try to put a face on. And in our community, we were always told, like, don't tell, don't say anything. If this person violated you or your body or your mental mind frame, that didn't happen. And so for me, it's like, okay, the violation stories begin. Everything that I've went through is about to be told. Now, names and stuff, that's something different. But I feel obligated to tell, my stories,
right.
Because I feel like people can learn from it, and it can help somebody else. And I feel like it's just soothing. It's soothing because people heal from music. They heal from music. And when you keep on talking about money, cars, clothes, what you messing with, and which female you mess, that means you don't want to talk about what's hard to talk about. That means that you're talking about the easiest thing, because we also know in our community that when we don't want to talk about what bad happened, we talking about balling out of control.
Right.
But let me tell you, girl, let me tell you what I did, girl, today, blah, blah, blah. Right. But we don't want to tell about how just yesterday somebody slapped us upside our head, or how this person did this and that to us. So in order for us to mask that, we always try to talk about the good stuff, and that's why we end up blowing up in the end. So my thing is, the blow up is happening on my records, and of course I'm gonna have some fun records, but majority of it is gonna be telling a story.
Okay. When can we expect it?
Okay, so
yes, give me the tea.
So I say, a single is coming out in another week or so. There's a new single that's coming out, and then besides that, my actual project is coming out in 1 month exactly.
Ew.
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're gonna have to come back whenever your album comes out and talk about the album for sure.
Yes, I'm excited to do that.
Okay. So tell me this: if you could tell your younger self one thing or something, what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self, girl, don't tell everybody your business. I would tell my younger self, girl, be quiet. You don't always have to be seen, and you don't always have to be loud. And I would tell my younger self, like, girl, don't let everybody around you. Protect yourself, protect your heart. And I also would tell my younger self, girl, get that money.
Yes. Yes, the first thing you get, okay?
Yes.
But, okay, well, thank you so much
yes,
for coming
thank you
on
for
the
having
show.
me.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Where
you.
can we find you on Instagram and all your social media?
Okay, on Instagram, it's Kat St. John. It's me, ITSME, so that's KATSTJOHN. ITSME. And then, or you could just Google me, Kat St. John, that's KATST.JOHN. Yes, and if you guys have any other questions, and if anybody else wants to get in contact with me, contact Shatana Nelson _Shatana Nelson PR. Okay?
Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching Let's Chat with Courtney Hall, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
Thank you. And stick around for another episode of Let's Chat with Courtney Hall.